On page 416, I want to read to you just the ending of what we started yesterday, but it's a little bit different manner. 416, the bottom right column, the second paragraph there, Vihine. Vihine. It's found in Menachot. Amar Rav Sheshet. Rav Sheshet says, Kol she'en lo tzitzit, bevigdo, anybody who does not have tzitzit in his clothing, over b'chamisha aseh. He violates 5 biblical prohibitions, commandments. Aseh means positive, active commandments. Upiresh Rashi. Rashi explains. It says in the Torah, "Ve'asu, ve'natnu, ve'haya, u'ritem gdilim ta'zelecha." The Torah has, in the parsha of Tzitzit, it uses a few verbs of do the mitzvah. Put them on the corner, wear them on the corner, see them on the corner, so on and so forth. It says, therefore, a person violates 5 biblical commandments. But you should know the rule about this. The Rambam says in the book of Mitzvot, in this language, Veda, you should know. If you find anywhere among a rabbi's writings, that if somebody violates this, he violated this and this negative commandments. Or someone who didn't do this violated this and this and this positive commandments. I like active and passive more than positive and negative. לא יתחייב מזה שתמנה עליו ביניהם כולם כל אחד בייחוד ולא כל עשה בייחוד. It's not that he actually violates 5 biblical prohibitions. You don't count each one of those things. כעניין אחד ואין בו כפל, because they're all the same mitzvah of tzitzit. They're not 5 mitzvot to wear tzitzit. There's 1 mitzvah to wear tzitzit. והראיה על כל מה שאמרנו, and the proof to this, אומרם כל שאין לו ציצית בבגדו עובר בחמישה עשה שנכפל בלשון הציווי 5 פעמים, that it would use 5 active words by the parsha of ציצית, ומצאנו להם לשון מבואר במצוות ציצית שהיא מצווה אחת. But if you look in the counting of the mitzvot, ציצית only is 1 commandment. And therefore, what do our rabbis mean when they say he violates 5 things? They're just trying to show you the gravity of the mitzvah of ציצית. Not that they actually would count 5 biblical prohibitions on something.
This brings a very good point. Can you subdivide mitzvot into parts?
Some mitzvot, yes.
And how is that done, and when is it done, and when is it not done?
Correct.
It could be quite...
It's a great question, and it involves a lot of nitpicking. The Talmud says there are 613 mitzvot. It doesn't tell us what they are. And so the Rishonim, there was like this fad, there was a little phase going on. All the Rishonim, many of them, tried to count what are the 613.
Yeah.
The Rambam and the Ramban, and the big arguments about this. And the bottom line is that there's no agreement upon what are the 613. And Moshe was the most accessible text of those were the Rambams. And probably that's why people count the Rambam's mitzvot, the book of mitzvot. I don't know if that's because everyone agrees with the Rambam. For example, if you look in the services on Shavuot, where we sing that song before Mincha on Shavuot of the 613 commandments, that list doesn't follow the Rambam. That list follows the countings of Rabbi Shlomo ibn Gvirol, if I'm not mistaken, which is fine, but it's in contradiction to the Rambam. Which is why in Yemen, Rabbi Yosef Kapach said he didn't like that they sang that song because they follow the Rambam, and he wrote a similar. It was a song based on the same tune, but to the Rambam, 613 mitzvot. And part of where they differ is how do you count certain mitzvot. So, for example, there's an argument as to when it says to build the Mishkan. When it says build the Mishkan, does that include all the things that you build in the Mishkan? All the vessels, or does it mean Mishkan is one mitzvah and the things you put inside of it are a separate mitzvah? There's an argument here between the Rambam and the Ramban. It's not the truth what I'm about to say, but it's a nice way to read. There's a famous Rashi. The Rashi says that Moshe and Betzalel, who is Betzalel?
The builder of the
Mishkan, Ben Holiav. Yeah, he was the architect of the Mishkan. Right. Rashi is a strange Rashi. They argued, him and Moshe Rabbeinu, about what? Somebody's going to remember this. What you should build first. you remember this?
You mean in the Mishkan?
One of them said you should first build the Mishkan and then build the utensils. And now I remember who said what. Another one said, you should first build the utensils and then build the Mishkan.
But isn't the order set down in the Torah? Let's give it to
It's just
Moshe
to
with
do,
that.
build the Mishkan and its utensils. It doesn't tell you which one you have to do
Doesn't
first.
come in a particular order.
I don't, according to this Rashi, not. So one retorted to the other, have you ever seen a person who buys a sofa, buys a table, and then builds a house over it? I mean, this is such a...
Yeah, I mean...
Like, who first buys
weird.
the furniture and then builds the house?
Right.
In Hebrew, there's a saying that sometimes, people will sew a suit for a button. They have a free ticket to Florida from Boston. Yeah, so they'll buy a ticket from San Diego to LA and a ticket from LA to Boston so they can get the free ticket to Florida. Why did you sew a whole suit for a button? Unless I have friends in Boston, I'm not going to take that trip. Sometimes people will go out of their way to make something happen. It's like the person who'll drive to the other side of San Diego to save 16 cents on bananas. But your gas also costs you money. Why do you make a whole suit for a button? This is the... so here, this is the question, the honest question. I had a Rebbe once. This is not the truth. So don't accept this as truth. Who said that it could be that this is where the Rambam and the Ramban got their argument from. One held, maybe Moshe, whichever one. The one who held first build the vessels and then build the Mishkan. He held that the vessels and the Mishkan were two separate mitzvot. You don't need one to do the other. But the one who said, just build the Mishkan, and inevitably you'll build the vessels afterwards, he held they were all part of the same mitzvah. So why would you start with the couch and then start with the building? He viewed those two mitzvot as connected, whereas the other ones viewed the two mitzvot as separate. So how it works, the Rambam talks a lot about this, and then about the counting of the mitzvot, and how you count the mitzvot, and what language the Torah uses. Is it a commandment, is it an obligation, or is it just a suggestion, or is it just when a situation arises? I don't have all the tools to tell you how you count the mitzvot, but that there are arguments as to how you count the mitzvot.
But in the case of the Mishkan, for example, is the wash basin, the lava or whatever.
Are those separate mitzvot?
Yeah, do they have Kedusha in and of themselves without the Beit HaMikdash to be in?
It's a great question.
Like the Kruvim or anything like that. I mean...
Well, the assumption is yes, because they were used in holiness.
They were used in holiness, but that was in the Beit HaMikdash. What about outside? Do they retain that status?
Probably like something else. If the bima, you take it out of the synagogue, it's still going to be holy. You can't use it for a table at your house.
That's true.
But is the bottom line that there are 613 commandments?
Bottom line is 613 commandments.
So you start with that, and then you try to
Count them.
And
It would be more comfortable for the Rishonim if they could just count as many as they wanted, and then you wouldn't have this problem. Because 613 is the number that our rabbis gave us, and that's the number that we stick with.
So there's going to be disagreements because
Of course.
it's...
See, always there are disagreements. And then you live in a Judaism that all it could talk about is unity, unity, unity. But we've been fighting our whole life. We love each other. Don't get it wrong, but we don't have to be the same with each other. We've always done this as early as we can remember.
You see this in the sciences, you see this in medicine. You see that there is this desire to make something that's watertight, totally coherent, no disagreement on. You always do this for this, you always give this drug for that, you always say that this will lead to this result. And it's unfortunately, it's actually a delusion of the human mind to believe that.
I've had a running conversation
Paradoxes
with my
known
wife
as
for
the
a
known.
few months now about the anarchist who is really a fascist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the one who pretends they don't believe in government and they don't want the government meddling in their affairs. Then you ask them, well, what do you want? Well, I want to run the world. You're not an anarchist. You
Right.
just, you don't like that other people tell you what to do. You would tell everybody else what to do though in a heartbeat, right? And the same thing, when I see a lot of people, this call for making everything the same, it's not out of a desire of peace and unity. It's from a hatred of that which is different than me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't handle that there's someone else different than me, so I need you to be like me. Why? In the sake of peace. Now, don't stop with your preaching to... we know really where your motivations are. Your motivations are you can't handle that I exist. I can't handle that you exist, and therefore I need you to be like me. I had an interesting conversation yesterday morning. Somebody had said, I'm not religious. And somebody else said, oh, you are religious. Just in your own way. I said, no, I'm not religious. And the religious person oftentimes struggles with. See, we'd like to say everybody's religious in their own way. They all do mitzvot. Hashem loves all of them. I'm coming from a place in which a non-religious person is bad, and therefore, and therefore, I want to say you're not bad. You also are religious in your own way. You're good in your own way. But this person is telling you, don't tell me what I am. I'm telling you that I'm not religious. Let me be not religious. Why do you have to tell me that deep down inside you really are? I don't want to. I don't believe in God. Yes, you do. You just don't know it. Okay, but let me, for this moment in my life, tell you that I don't believe in God. I'm telling you this as a rabbi. It's very presumptuous. We do this a lot in the religious community, of trying to lump people into our group, that the motivation is not unity. The motivation is, I don't want you to be your own thing, so I'm going to lump you into my thing. It's
You can usually tell who's like that because they're not really interested in what the person's life's about. They just want you to be part of their thing.
correct. And this is, remember, we studied that letter on tolerance from Rav Weinberg.
Yeah.
And that was his approach to tolerance was, don't tolerate me. Fight me, argue with me, but don't just lump me in with you. I tolerate you. I want you to take me seriously. Let me be serious. And this is something very interesting. The more you think about it, the more you'll see it in current events. And a lot of the people who are wearing this mask of piety and saintliness comes from a place of destruction, and it's the exact opposite. What they say they're trying to accomplish is what they're trying to accomplish. On the top of 416. V'yesh lilbosh hatalit gadol al kol bgadav. See 416? Not the bold, the top meaning the middle. A person should wear their talit over their talit, under the tzitzit, over their clothing. Aval talit katan, but the small tzitzit, minhag Sfaradim v'chol edot mizrach, the custom of the Sfaradim and the Jews of the Orient, lilovshot tachat abgadim, to wear it underneath their clothing. We've discussed this before. Ve'en lotzi af hatzitziot b'chutz, and they shouldn't even put the strings out, like we mentioned before. And there I mentioned to you that many Sfaradim, the custom is not to put the strings and tzitziot out. The main Ashkenazim, the custom is to put the strings out. Rav Peretz's opinion is that one should put the strings out, even though Sfaradim would disagree with it.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a Sephardic Ashkenazi thing, this is a halakha versus non-halakha thing. And that's why we put our tzitziot out. So I guess he got away with, how does Maran say, wear your tzitzit over your clothing and you wear it underneath? Well, with the talit we wear over our clothing, the tzitzit we wear underneath.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line of it. Ra'ui l'chol ish misrael, it's fitting for every man of the Jewish people, she'ilbash talit katan b'meshach kol sha'ot hayom, to wear a talit katan throughout the day. Even if you're not obligated in it.
You know, it's interesting that you see sometimes basketball players at YU or wherever wearing tzitzit while they play basketball, and it's kind of, in a way, it could be defended, but on the other hand, you're not supposed to be sweating.
We had this conversation about sweating and tzitziot and siman chet.
Yeah.
You're right. There is a stance that says you shouldn't make your tzitzit dirty. Meaning don't sweat in them. You don't. Others say that you're wearing an undershirt. Others say that tzitziot that we wear are not as ritual of a garment as we would like them to be. Meaning you could wear them to the bathroom. You could. So then why can't I play sports in them? It goes to say that you definitely can play sports without your tzitziot. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You can. You can take off your tzitzit sometimes.
Yeah.
It's allowed. This is what we're trying to say.
Allowed.
The medakdekim, and those who are particularly scrupulous, medakdekim, from the word of dikta, from being particular. Makpidim, they're careful, shelo lelechet afilu 4 amot belo talit katan. They don't walk even 4 amot without their tzitzit, which is kind of like, what does that remind you?
The hands, washing hands. And
We're not washing hands for Amot. That was the Mekubalim, and
You say 4 amot, so you can't, a Kohen can't be within 4 amot of a body.
we mentioned 4 Amot with being next to the body.
Yeah.
And 4 Amot, the original time you found this is one should not walk 4 Amot without their head covered. Remember we spoke about kippot?
Yeah.
4 Amot was the measurement we used there.
Isn't it also 4 amot past a boundary on Shabbat?
And the boundary on Shabbat is not 4 Amot, it's a Tchum Shabbat, which is something like 2,000 feet. I don't know exactly. I don't know how much. I don't know what the.
That's a lot more.
It's yeah.
You walk your guests out of your house 4 amot, yeah.
Okay, very good. But the main place we brought that you should wear something is the Bag Kippah. That was what we spoke about. Let's look at the footnote in Rashi's script. In the bottom of the page, to the left. It says Harambam in Rashi's script.
This is the very bottom last line.
Yes. If it was up to me, we wouldn't write any more in Rashi's script. I don't know why we do. I'm just... Rashi didn't write in Rashi's script, so why would
Really?
Really?
Yeah, it's not Rashi's script. Rashi wouldn't know how to read this. This came after Rashi. It was a font that one of the printers, listen, he had a problem, which was you would print books and have commentaries on them, and how would you differentiate between the commentary and the book? You have lines of Talmud, for example, that, like, what? How did that get there?
Yeah.
And then you realize it wasn't. In the earlier editions of the Talmud, someone had written notes, one of the Geonim, and the printer just printed it all together, so his notes were printed as if they were part of the Talmud. And so that's why you have all kinds of additions and fixing. So he made Rashi's script to differentiate Rashi from the rest of the text on the page. And then it became known as Rashi's script, but Rashi probably never saw such writing in his life. That's where Rashi's script comes from. Wow. So kids around the Jewish day school world hate Rashi for no good reason, because he didn't do this to them.
Oh, poor guy.
Top of page 417, Katav, the Rambam writes, Amru alav al Rav. They say about Rav. Rav was his name. Talmido shel Rabbeinu HaKadosh, a student of Rabbeinu Yehuda Nasi. Shekol yamav, that his entire life, lo ra'uhu, they never saw him, shalach, walking, 4 amot below Torah, 4 amot without studying Torah, or 4 amot below tzitzit, or 4 amot below tefillin. They never saw him walk a distance of 4 amot without studying Torah, wearing tzitzit and tefillin.
Who is that?
Rav, a student of Rabbi Yonatan Halevy. Uve Shabbat, and in Shabbat it says, Amar Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman says in the tractate of Shabbat, Te'ti li dekiyamti mitzvot. Look how praiseworthy I am that I wear tzitzit. We had a similar statement by Kippah. Do you remember that? Rav said, I am so praiseworthy, I never walk 4 amot without my hair uncovered. So if it's a halakha, so why should he be praised? So one opinion says, oh, you see from there it's not a halakha. It was something extra credit that he did. The other opinion said, what's he saying? That not that he just wore a kippah, but he never walked 4 amot without his kippah. That was a stringency he took on himself. So here, Rashi says the same thing. Shelo halach 4 amot below tzitzit. That he did not walk 4 amot without wearing tzitzit. V'chen atur, and therefore the Tur Shulchan Aruch writes, Katav, V'im yirtzeh lihitatef miyad bekumo, if a person wants to wrap himself in tzitzit immediately when he wakes up, Kidei shelo yilech 4 amot below tzitzit, in order so he doesn't walk 4 amot without tzitzit, so on and so forth. The Bach also writes that one should always wear tzitzit. He's just bringing sources to show you that there's a reason to wear tzitzit all day long. There were people who were careful about this. Is it an obligation? It's not an obligation. Then on page 417.
They do that like this in proper, always.
Tzitzit? I think always tzitzit, not tefillin. In Yerushalayim, you have a few people who wear tefillin all day. Our parents recently started wearing tefillin most of the day.
Why?
Really?
Yeah, about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. The last year I was in Yerushalayim. And he would take them off when he left, like the yeshiva, so he shouldn't wear it in places that shouldn't be worn. But got tiny tefillin, maybe maybe the size of the glass of my watch. Like a little box just sitting on his head and on his arm. And many people in Yerushalayim wear tefillin.
Like that, the small ones?
They wear small ones because the most comfortable. You don't have to schlep around some big thing on your head all the time. And the halakha is you should wear tefillin all day. Tefillin is not something you wear just for prayers. We stopped wearing tefillin all day because of Roman persecution. But they say that now we're back in Israel. We can wear tefillin again. Who's going to persecute us?
It's in Torah.
The Torah doesn't tell you when to wear tefillin. It's one of the things you should wear. You find stories in the Talmud, the rabbis running away from the Romans, hiding the tefillin in their hands, it turned into a dove. You remember these famous stories? That some say the reason is because we can't think properly about our tefillin the way we should the whole time, the whole day. So we just wear it for the bare minimum, which is during Shacharit. That reason didn't change. We only got worse. I mean, if the Vilna Gaon couldn't do it, so I'm going to be able to do it. If Shulchan Aruch didn't wear tefillin all day, I'm going to wear tefillin all day. That reason applies, and some people, that's the reason why most people don't wear tefillin all day. But it's not a bad thing if you're at home and you pray Shacharit at home. Or you're at the synagogue and you pray Shacharit at the synagogue, and you're going to learn for an hour or 2 or 3 afterwards. So leave your tefillin on. Why do you have to take them off? So long as you're not going to be doing anything that will distract you from the mitzvah of tefillin. Maybe a Sunday morning, whatever day you have that you learn a little bit after your tefillah, keep your tefillin on. Why do you have to come off right away?
You know, the common practice is to take it off as soon as you can possibly do it.
Right. That's not a good practice. It's
No,
a common
no,
practice.
no, they do it even before service ends. You know?
Yes, you're not a common person. If you're part of this kollel, you're no longer common.
But we take them off for Musaf on Rosh Chodesh.
Correct. In
Yeah,
that situation, they
Rosh
put them on
Chodesh.
again afterwards. Why people take off their tefillin for Musaf Rosh Chodesh is under much debate why that's done. It's not a clear reason why we take off our tefillin. Some say the reason is that we say the Kedusha of Keter. We add in there, Keter itenu lecha. Hashem, we're putting a crown on you. So we're not going to wear a crown. The tefillin is called a crown. How can we wear a crown when we're putting a crown on Hashem's head? The reason why that reason probably isn't true is because Ashkenazim also take off their tefillin and they don't say Keter.
No, but they say Nakdi Shah.
They say Nakdishach.
Yeah.
But that doesn't involve crowns. So
No, it doesn't. So, but they don't wear tefillin during Musaf.
very good. And that's the
Yeah,
proof that
yeah.
that's probably not the right reason. Do you understand?
I thought it might have had something to do with sacrifices because you're really going over the sacrifices in Musaf.
There's a lot written even in English on this. If you Google, why do you take off your tefillin, Rosh Chodesh Musaf, you'll
Yeah.
be blown away at the things you'll read.
Really?
On page 417, Bazar Kadosh, in the Holy Zohar it says, they write, Kol HaKorei Kriyat Shema Belo Tzitzit. Anybody who does not wear does not wear tzitzit during Shema,
Yeah.
Ki'ilu me'id edut sheker ba'atzmo, as if he's testifying falsely about himself. A rabbi said this about tefillin. If a person says Shema without tefillin, then it's as if he's testifying the word tefillin, but I'm not wearing tefillin. And that seems to have been extended by the Zohar to tzitzit as well. Meaning he's reading the parasha of tzitzit. He's saying, I'm obligated to wear tzitzit, but I'm not wearing tzitzit. And therefore, from this Zohar, you see, therefore, Ra'ui la'adam, it's fitting for a person, she's zaher, to be careful, sheyeh me'utaf b'talit, they should be wrapped in a talit, b'sha'ah shekoreh kriyat shema u'mitpalel, at least while he's praying and reading Shema.
That's something everybody accepts pretty much.
Yeah, well, not everybody. Imagine that your average over bar mitzvah but not yet
yeah.
married
Age, that's
Ashkenazi
different,
youngster
yeah.
doesn't wear tefillin then.
No,
Even adults.
Doesn't wear
they
talit
don't
then.
wear talit.
I might as well learn, I guess. I'm older than that.
It's okay.
That's how they tell those eligible bachelors.
This is.
Yeah, it's a sure sign.
They would say that they wear tzitziot, and that counts. But let's hope everybody's wearing tzitzit. There's an argument here. How far do we take this? It's not mentioned in our Talmud. It's only mentioned in the Zohar. quotes here of Moshe Feinstein, who says that wearing a talit during tefillah is not an obligation. It's not even a rabbinic obligation. It's just a nice thing to do. Meaning you don't have to. The Zohar is not binding on halakha. You have to understand that the Mekubalim see this in a whole different light. There's a halakha. Let's teach you this halakha because I'm sure you know it. If you have a tefillin bag, where should your hand tefillin be? On which part of the bag?
Below.
Right.
On the right side.
Right side.
If you're reaching into the bag, it should be on the right side.
Yeah.
Why?
It's your right hand.
The assumption is that the person's right-handed, very good, and they're going to reach for that tefillin.
Prejudiced.
You want to reach
Well, some of my best friends are left-handed.
That's right.
you want to reach. You want to reach the hand tefillin first. What happens if you would reach the head tefillin first?
It'll go to your head.
What's the order of putting on tefillin?
The order is hand,
Portion.
then you,
Head.
and then head,
Yeah, and then back
to
to
head.
okay.
Yeah.
So hand and then head.
Yeah.
What happens if you reach for your head tefillin first?
I think you're supposed to put it on first.
Oh.
You
Really?
can't pass over a mitzvah. So according to halakha, you put on your head tefillin first, and then you put on your hand tefillin.
But the mitzvah isn't to take hold of it. The mitzvah is to put it on.
But you just came in contact with this mitzvah, and you're choosing to. Oh, I don't want to do that one. I want to do this one first.
I never ever thought of that one.
No, I didn't either.
So what about you reaching into your bag? I've seen many people that they'll put their talit bag on top of their tefillin bag, and when they open their bag, they take out their tefillin and they reach in for their talit. You just passed over the mitzvah of tefillin. I know you want to put on your talit first, so put your talit on top. Or put your tefillin in such a way that you'll be able to reach your talit as an equal opportunity to reaching your tefillin. Because in that situation, poskim say, you should then put on your tefillin first and only afterwards put on a talit. In step the Mekubalim.
Da-da-da-da.
Very good. They have now arrived. The Mekubalim say, listen, with all due respect to the poskim, they're right. From a halachic perspective, they're right. But from an otherworldly, Kabbalistic perspective, you're ruining the whole order of the worlds by mixing around the mitzvot's order. How could you put on your head tefillin, which is supposed to accomplish fill in the blank in the world of so-and-so, and then you're going to put on the hand tefillin, which is accomplishing so-and-so. I mean, it's a ladder. You can't jump to the top ladder, then jump back down, then jump back. You have to do it correctly. And the argument among the Mekubalim is, do we neglect halakha, and then a Kabbalist should ignore wherever his hand goes and just put on the right order, talit, hand, head? Or does he put on the talit, put on the tefillin out of order, or put on the talit and then tefillin out of order, and then take them off and put them on again the right way?
You've studied the Ben Ish
Really?
Chai on this?
The
What
Ben
does he
Ish Chai,
say? Because
yeah.
he's very influenced by
The Ben Ish
Kabbalah,
Chai,
but he's halachic also.
if I'm not mistaken, the Ben Ish Chai says what I just said. Don't hold me to it. The Ben Ish Chai says you should do it in the Kabbalistic order, not the halachic order.
Well, you can see that there's a logical sense of priority in that. The head before the heart. You know,
Absolutely,
rules the
but in
heart.
matters of halakha, the spiritual underpinnings of the mitzvot are only so relevant.
Mhm, I
They
understand.
can't change the.
Well, that's why I mentioned why it was how the Ben Ish Chai would do
Do
it.
you want to
He
bring?
was a-
Molly, do you want
a
to bring the
stump
Ben Ish Chai,
halachist.
please?
Okay,
But-
just tell me what it looks like.
The Ben Ish Chai writes in Parshat Vayera that even if it's listen how far the Ben Ish Chai goes. What happens to that person if they come to shul and they don't have a talit there? They just have their tefillin, they forgot their talit at home.
Borrow the
So they send a text message to their son. They say, hey, you're going to be at shul soon. Why don't you please bring me my talit on your way to shul? So now he comes to shul. You're already wearing your tefillin. It's been a while, so you have to pray. Now he comes to bring you a talit. According to halakha, what would you do?
Take off the tefillin and put on
No,
talit.
it's a separate mitzvah. Put it
Right, a
on
separate
with,
mitzvah. What's tefillin have to do with talit? Just make a blessing on talit and wear your talit.
The Zohar says that.
The Ben Ish Chai says, I'm sorry. You are messing up the order of the worlds. You have to take off your tefillin, put on your talit, and then put your tefillin back on. How much more so in this case, the Ben Ish Chai will tell you, doesn't make a difference which one you touch first, you got to do the right order. Okay, this is the road of the Mekubalim. It's why some people were hesitant about the Sephardic world being taken over by the Kabbalists. The Ashkenazim had a good method in place as to keeping Kabbalistic practices to the Kabbalists, which existed in Ashkenaz. There were Ashkenazi Mekubalim, but they just didn't tell everyone else to be Kabbalists also. Wait till you know how to fly on a magic carpet, then start doing this stuff. This was the bottom line. And in the Sephardic world, it spread like wildfire. Kabbalah took over the world. And unfortunately, you've had there's been good things that have come out of that and negative things. Sometimes you find that the pure halakha that used to exist there is no longer there. I'm not going to tell you the Ben Ish Chai is wrong. Just this is the approach of a Mekubal. It's that important not to ruin the orders of the world. But what you can learn from Mekubalim is that every action that you do has tremendous effects in other worlds, in other realms, not even in this realm. And you should don't take yourself so lightly. Not bad, also positive. You do something mitzvah, you don't realize what else you changed around in the world. It wasn't just what you did. To realize you have a lot more power than you think you have. You as a person who observes Torah mitzvot are in a whole different genre of human being. On page 419, and even if a person has tzitzit, ראוי שיהיה מעוטף בטלית גדול, should still put on his big talit בשעה שקורא קריאת שמע ומתפלל. While he says Shema, you should still put on his big talit. I mean, just because you're wearing tzitziot doesn't mean that you shouldn't put on your talit. ومنهاج ישראל, the custom of the Jewish population, להתעטף בטלית גדול בתפילת שחרית בלבד, to wear a talit gadol only during shacharit. ויש מרבותינו המקובלים, but we have some of our rabbis, the Kabbalists, שנהגו להתעטף בטלית, who wore a talit, they put some parentheses, ולהניח תפילין, and to put on tefillin, אף בשעת תפילת המנחה, also during תפילת המנחה. In our yeshiva in Yerushalayim, we had some people who did that. They would put on tefillin also for mincha.
I mean, in general.
In addition to what they did in Shacharit.
As a daily practice.
Yeah. When I was in Yerushalayim, I used to pray Shabbat afternoon with the minyan of Mekubalim there. Why? It was a shtick. I don't know why. It was a thing I did for a while. And they wear talitos, I wore talit, and when it came time to realize that nobody else wears a talit Shabbat afternoon, the Rabbi told me not to take off my talit. I already started something that's a step in the it's a chumrah, so I shouldn't take it away, but I should tell other people not to do it. And I stopped wearing my talit for mincha temporarily. I didn't take back my nida only when we started our new community, and there's certain needs came up that needed to be taken care of by mincha, and it wasn't fitting to wear a talit then. But the minyanim of the Mekubalim, they wear talit and tefillin during mincha as well, not just shacharit.
It's also very long.
Very long. It is also very long. That is true. It takes a good few hours to do. We have one more sentence, so let's just finish that sentence.
Did you say that sometimes you
It's
do
long?
not wear a
Yeah.
talit?
How could it be
during
long?
Yeah.
They,
But most everybody does.
Most.
Mincha
Mincha nobody wears talit.
Every word is very slowly.
Oh, you mean,
deliberately.
You got your talit? I don't know.
But isn't that they have more things to say?
ונוהגים
They don't.
להתעטף בטלית קודם תפילת שחרית, אחר מעט ברכות השחר וברכות התורה. The custom is to wear a talit before shachrit, but after saying the ברכות השחר and the ברכות התורה. וראוי שלא יסיר הטלית מעליו עד סיום התפילה. Jack, you're listening well? You can tell this to the people tomorrow morning.
What?
Bring rocks with you.
Bring rocks with
Yeah.
me.
You should not take off your talit until the end of tefillah. Achar aleinu l'shabach, until you finish aleinu l'shabach on page 420. ואם מתפלל תפילת ערבית מבעוד יום אחר פלג המנחה, ראוי שיהיה לבוש בגד קטן. And if you pray arvit during the daytime still. I mean, there are people who pray arvit early, before sunset, especially in the long...
I couldn't.
You can, and after a certain time in the day. Yeah, like we do in Erev Shabbat sometimes. When Shabbat is very late and you just can't stay there in the shul till the sun sets, it's proper to wear a talit then, even though you're praying Arvit, and even though you might be nighttime where you're exempt from it. At the end of the day, it's still daytime. And even though it might be nighttime enough to pray Arvit, you don't want to be in a situation where during the day you're saying Shema and you're not wearing tzitziot. That's the logic behind that. That was Rabbi Akiva Eger. I don't know that everyone agrees with this opinion, but this is it's an opinion, especially if you're already wearing your tzitziot. So you don't have to rip them off by Arvit, so you can just leave them on. And I think that last thing about not taking off talit and tefillin early, it's a very important thing. A person should I can't say it's wrong. It's not a halakha, so I can't scream at anybody for it, but imagine if you were in a meeting, and I'll tell you, it happens sometimes. I'm about to say Dvar Torah at the Shabbat table. And all of a sudden, one of the guests who's just trying to help, nothing they mean intentionally, they get up and start collecting all the plates. Why? They've learned that when there's a lull in the action, that's when they should clear the table. But when you clear the table, now nobody's listening anymore. Wait, nothing will happen if you don't clear the table now. A few times I tried to, or when we sing a song, people will get up to clear the table. I'll tell you the truth, I have a long fight with many people. Why do the ladies who help a lot at the Shabbat meal, not my Shabbat table, I've got Shabbat tables around the world, why do they feel that when we sing songs, it's not for them? They can get up and go to the kitchen. Shabbat, when you're less Jewish than me, you're also Jewish. Demand that, listen, just because I'm a lady doesn't mean I have to go pick up the garbage. We're going to sing the song, and when everyone's speaking Lashon Hara, that's when I'm going to go clear the table. Not when we sing a song. I want to learn how to sing a song also. That's how it should be. It should be this way. And Baruch Hashem, in my house, we try as much as possible to do that. I can't hold everybody by their ears, but that's the truth. And also, but Knesset, imagine if you were giving a presentation. And already I was teaching in elementary school last week. It's like 5 minutes to dismissal. And everyone's closing their laptops and zipping up their bags. We have 5 minutes. Yeah, we're our class almost over. If you only knew what that looks like, that Kadosh Baruch Hu. We're talking to Hashem. Okay, Hashem, while I'm wrapping up with you, I'm already going to start putting my stuff away. So Kadosh Baruch Hu, I'm talking to Kadosh Baruch Hu. I'm talking to the King of Kings, to the Creator of the universe, to my Creator, to the one who's going to make my day a good day. I want to run out early from that meeting. You have to go to work. So find somewhere else to make a shortcut. I don't know what it is. Tie your shoes later. Whatever it is you need to do. But the talit and tefillin, leave on till the end of tefillah. There's no reason to rush. It's like the people who speed on the freeway. When you take your driver's test, they tell you that the average person who speeds on the freeway gets somewhere 30 seconds earlier than somebody else and increases their risk of car accident by a few 100%.
Yeah.
So for what? So to get there 30 seconds earlier, you're willing to increase the risk? Doesn't make sense. A gambling person wouldn't bet on this.